And Peter Banks now, with the second blow of the whistle, gets the game underway. Sheffield United, bottom of the Premier League table, against the Leicester City side, who the results went for them yesterday in many ways, didn't it, as far as the top four is concerned, Chris?
Yeah, and I think even Leicester in the last few appearances, with the injuries they've got to key players, they've been digging in and getting good results themselves, and they're not looking at anybody else. If they're getting rewarded, we're not playing, getting good results for them, they'll take it.
So it's with Ricardo over on that far side for Leicester, who start the day third, a point behind Manchester United, but maybe more concerned with the teams beneath them. Chelsea dropping points yesterday. West Ham United still have games in hand. This is the perfect opportunity for Brendan Rodgers' side to try and consolidate a place in the top four, and certainly for Johnny Evans to come back into the side as well. That's always a boost. I know Fofana recently returned against Burnley after an 8-game absence, so they've got two very good defenders back at the heart there for Leicester City. Sheffield United with a throw on that far side, the left. Fleck goes down under a challenge from Ndidi, and that will be a free kick to the away side. Must be a strange time for the Sheffield United players, bearing in mind the bond that they clearly had with Chris Wilder, and the association and the success that they've had with him in recent seasons, to all of a sudden to no longer have him on the touchline.
Yeah, I'm sure they've had words among themselves, and at the end of the day, the professional footballers have got to go out there and give 100% and give what they've got. But I'm sure the majority of this squad and team will miss them.
Lundstrom lays it off to Baldock on this near side, played as part of the back three against Southampton. He returns to his wing-back role as Norwood just catching Perez. That'll be a free kick inside the Leicester City half. And just as a reminder, if you missed it in the build-up, Paul Heckingbottom, who's out there in that technical area, only linking up with the squad today, had to wait for his COVID test to come through, so he's travelled down from his home in South Yorkshire this morning after taking charge of the under-23s on Friday afternoon, when it was all starting to kick off about the Sheffield United manager. Incidentally, they beat Birmingham by 5-0.
I'm surprised at that. You've got Alan Neil there, who's experienced, and obviously the rest of the staff, to bring the 23 manager forward. It's a strange one.
Yes, been confirmed that Jason Tindall, though we yet to see Jason Tindall, but he will be assisting Alan Neil along with Paul Heckingbottom until to the end of the season. Of course, a former Barnsley and Leeds United, and indeed Hibernian manager as well. So he's experienced on the touchline. 43-year-old, as he watches on. But Leicester City are in possession, playing from right to left. And Fofana can come forward for Leicester and finds Iheanacho, who scored 2 in these last 2 games. We heard from him in the build-up with Steve. Perez looks for the Nigerian, but that'll be cleared by Stevens, and out of play it goes for a throw. But Leicester have been... Well, they've got a very good away record, in fact one of the best in the Premier League, in fact the same amount of wins as the champions-elect and league leaders Manchester City, but at home they're a different proposition, aren't they?
Yeah, it's strange as well, because they have got players that are unfortunately injured, Barnes, Maddison, who can make something happen. They can go past players, they can definitely make things happen, and he's got Iheanacho, and he is playing Perez as a 10 today, but you don't really look at them players and say they are very creative compared to the likes of Maddison, so it's going to be difficult to break the Sheffield United team down.
Ball forward there was cut out by Ampadu, and Brian has his attempted forward ball charged down by Iheanacho. It'll be a Sheffield United throw on the far side. Certainly Basham coming back into the side after missing the last 3 is good news for Sheffield United. Of course, a key feature of the Chris Wilder style of play that saw them gain those 2 promotions in 3 years was the overlapping central defenders, and Basham was very much part of that. And the ball from Ampadu was a loose one. Didn't do Basham any favours at all.
No, Ampadu, we don't know, but I don't know what's his best position. I've seen him play right there with 3, I've seen him play midfield, I've seen him play in the middle the last few games. I don't know where his best position is.
His ball there to Basham was wayward, to say the least. It was well behind Basham and out of play for a throw. But 5 minutes on BBC Radio 5 Live. Leicester City 0, Sheffield United 0. Evans playing in the centre of that three-man defence, goes out to the left to Soyuncu, and Ndidi back with Evans. Fofana drops out towards that far side, the right-hand side. Ricardo is providing the width. Iheanacho actually dropped so far deep that Ricardo was ahead of him. It's a ball inside from Ricardo. Perez lays it up towards Vardy, and then picked up by Ramsdale, diving forward, all in yellow, away towards our left. 0-0, Chris.
Yeah, it's not started the quickest of games, is it? I thought maybe Leicester would have went for them, get a high tempo and try and get work on the goalkeeper on that goal at Sheffield United, but they sort of stood off Sheffield United, and Sheffield United have got behind the ball, and they're going to frustrate Leicester, there's no doubt about it. I know it's a cliche, but in this game the first goal is so important.
Basham forward, cut out. Tielemans now on the ball. Here is Ndidi, central position. Now to Fofana.
You just think, Ian, as well, sometimes Leicester keeping possession well. It's quite slow, the tempo, and that ball there, what Johnny Evans has hit, they've got to do that more often.
Over the top to Iheanacho. Iheanacho still tussling with it, and then the flag is raised.
I think that's a ball which just mix it up a bit. You know, Sheffield United get behind the ball, good shape. Leicester are playing very slow, 1-2 touch football. There's no tempo about it. Now and again, with Vardy's pace and Iheanacho's pace, just drop one in behind and see what happens. Like there, unfortunately, he went a little bit too early and he was offside. But that is not a bad ball.
I saw them at Burnley recently, and in fact, it was a ball that was played forward, and it was a splendid finish from Iheanacho. Took it ever so well as it dropped over to him, but on this occasion the flag, a very late flag, but that's no surprise, was raised, and Ramsdale, who's kept just 3 clean sheets in his 31 appearances since he arrived from Bournemouth, relegated Bournemouth last year, clears long downfield and out of play for a throw to Leicester City. But it's been a quiet start to the first game of 3 commentaries on BBC Radio 5 Live this afternoon. 0-0. Iheanacho, good control, close control, just inside his own half, spreads it to Castagnet on this left-hand side, and Ndidi will pass the ball back to the Belgian international, finds his compatriot Tielemans. Perez takes it away from Basham, but Lundstrom coming back. Half-hearted clearance by Lundstrom. Leicester are back in possession. Castagnet coming forward. Now Tielemans on the edge of the penalty area. All very scrappy, and in the end Sheffield United managed to scramble the ball away, but Ndidi wins it back well. Here is Vardy. Vardy gets the shot away, but left-footed as he falls backwards and then springs back to his feet as he takes a little tumble backwards. Left-footed shot, well wide, goal kick, 0-0.
It was more hopeful than anything, wasn't it? It was a good play by Leicester, some good interchanging of passes in tight areas, and eventually it comes to Vardy. He was always stretching with his left foot, was never on target, but I think that's what Leicester's got to do. They've got to keep the tempo a lot higher.
The struggle for goals at the King Power in the Premier League as well. Jamie Vardy mentioned just 1 goal in 14 since December, just before Christmas, but only 3 of his 12 goals of the Premier League have come at home. But I'm sure if he was to score, even though there were no supporters, of course, still inside the stadium, he'll still do that cup celebration, won't he, with a hand to the ear, as he did at Bramall Lane when he got a last-minute winner when the two sides met back in December at Bramall Lane 2-1.
And he got a yellow card for breaking the corner flag, I think, didn't he?
I think he did. Fofana, ball play forward. Referee's given a free kick to Leicester City.
It's a good tackle. Look, get up, mate.
It was Brian on Fofana.
Listen, I'm going to stand Brian asking a referee for what. Fofana stayed down. I'm going to tell you now he's going to get up within 5 to 10 seconds. That is the fight. There's nothing wrong with that tackle at all. And then the scream actually gets it, I think, which all the referees now are listening to. He did play the ball. Maybe it was a free kick, but no, marvellous, isn't it? Used to be a magic sponge now.
Yeah.
It's just a whistle now when they get up straight away.
That's the one thing, hasn't it, that feels like it's been amplified, is the screaming of players without supporters that you notice more than anything else.
we just want honesty in, and let's be honest. If it's a foul, all right, but you don't have to roll around trying to get the player booked and sent off. That's where's this coming from? We saw the night where Foden got penalised for. It's encouraging people basically screaming, fall down.
That's why I thought the actions of Phil Foden were so refreshing in midweek and deserve to be highlighted, because highlight the good bits and then also highlight bad practice, as often they do on 606, but it's the only way that we're ever going to try and eradicate it from our game.
Well, I think the end of the season they've got to put their heads together, whoever's making the rules and judgment, and get these referees more than anybody to actually understand the game. Who's conning you, who's cheating, who's diving, who's screaming for no reason. They're the ones who need punished.
That's Chris Waddle, of course, on BBC Radio 5 Live, as Tielemans hits the ball into the penalty area right-footed. It was dipping, but over the head of Iheanacho and out of play. It goes for a goal kick. So we're watching Sheffield United. Naz Premji has been watching Sheffield Wednesday at home to Norwich City. Naz.
It's finished, Dano. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Norwich City 2. The leaders come from behind to go 10 clear. Jordan Rhodes with the Wednesday opener, but two glorious finishes from Timu Pukki and Todd Cantwell, enough to seal the win for Norwich. And Daniel Farke's side now 10 clear at the top. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Norwich 2.
Yes, 10 clear of Watford, 79 points, and so many people, when they're talking about Sheffield United and Chris Wilder, will highlight the excellent work that Norwich City have done and how stabilising they are as a football club, with Stuart Webber as a director of football and of course Daniel Farke as their manager. So they lead by 2 goals to 1, 11.5 minutes played. Leicester City are coming forward. Here is Iheanacho looking towards Jamie Vardy. Vardy was tugged back, plays it out. The referee's given the advantage. Castagne on this left-hand side, left corner of the penalty area. Castagne crosses. The header from Perez hits the post. Hits the base of the right-hand post. Ramsdale was struggling, and in fact Ramsdale actually must have got something on it. It's a corner kick.
I'm not sure if he did, Ian. It was a good move, wasn't it? Jamie Vardy have involved, good hold-up play, gets it wide, and then comes Castaneda, the left back, who's obviously right-footed, comes into his right foot, it's a little ball dinked in, and he must have got something on it, but he's given the corner. It's good effort, though.
It looked like he was struggling, but saved by the post, his left-hand post, as corner kick for Leicester City, 0-0. BBC Radio 5 Live. Leicester playing from right to left. Corner comes in from the right-hand side, headed out by Burt. Ricardo is there, though, to win it back for Leicester City. Every pink shirt was back behind the ball. We'll get an update from the cricket once that we've seen what Leicester City do here, and indeed it will go back to Schmeichel. So we'll check in with Jonathan Agnew, watching England against India in the second T20.
Yeah, for Jason Roy fan, tune in, because he's playing really well here. A lot of improvisation required on a pitch I think is pretty tricky to get the pace of. He's 31 from 26 balls. He's at 2 sixes, 2 fours, one just flying past Hardik Pandya's head after he bowled it at him. Terrific stuff. David Malan at the other end, 23 from 20. Joss Butler, of course, out to his first ball for naught. So 63 for 1 England at the end of 8 overs. It feels like a good start.
Certainly is, and a much better start than India had made in the first encounter, which of course saw England trounce India by 8 wickets. So we'll get regular updates from Jonathan throughout the course of the afternoon, and this is the first of 3 commentaries in the Premier League live on 5 Live, and it's still 0-0, but Leicester City close to breaking getting the first goal of the afternoon with that Perez header. He's missed the last 6 with a knee problem as Perez. He almost marked his return with a goal. Bryan forward, looking towards Sharp, out towards that left-hand side, in their pink shirts, grey shorts, from left to right. Ball played back. Fleck now is on the ball for Sheffield United, back towards Sharp once more, unable to get past Fofana on that far side, and it goes out of play, and it's a Leicester City throw.
Well, Sheffield United are not doing a lot when they've got possession, have they? They're running out of ideas, not enough movement. They've got a good shape to them. Obviously, they've come to set up and frustrate Leicester. But again, I'm sure Paul Higginbottom will be saying, when you get the ball, go and enjoy it. Go and create. Go and enjoy the ball. You can always get back to shape, but at the minute, Sheffield United, for me, when they haven't got it, look, good shape about them. But they've got to enjoy the football when they get it.
And we talk about Norwich City with that result at Sheffield Wednesday, coming from behind to win by 2 goals to 1, going 10 points clear. But of course, your former club really are in the mire. They're 7 points from safety.
Yeah, it's going to be a big. it's a massive ask for them now to stay up. Yeah, simple as that. They're not getting results. Very low in confidence. Brought another manager in, but it doesn't look good.
So it could be, it looks like it could be a double relegation for the two Sheffield clubs this season. Quarter of an hour played, 0-0 here at the King Power on 5 Live. Soyuncu to Tielemans, able to turn, hits the ball over the top. Vardy's after it, he's got round the back. It was a diagonal ball, right hand side of the penalty area, pulls it back to Ricardo. Ricardo now to Perez, controls it inside the D. The return from Iheanacho almost found the former Newcastle player. Sheffield United able to clear, but Leicester are back in possession. 0-0. Castagnet to Tielemans, strokes it short, inside. And Ndidi, forward ball, hit quite hard. Iheanacho though coming forward now. It breaks to Ricardo, shot charged down on this occasion by Fleck. Castagnet wins it back. Sheffield United under pressure. Lundstrom, and then skied up in the air by Baldock. And it'll drop just short of the halfway line, and it comes off the head of Soyuncu.
Yeah, well, it's Burke headed that in, but a good play again by Leicester. That they're starting to find gaps in space now, and it's just that final ball's letting them down.
Just starting to creak, that Sheffield United defence, and conceded and lost so many games this season. Sheffield United, only the second English top flight team to lose 22 of their first 28 games in a season after Sunderland in 2005, 2006. And I think when you don't win any of your opening 17 games and you only pick up just the 2 points, that the writing's been on the wall for a long time.
Well, it's amazing when you look back in last season when they were talking Champions League place Wednesday, and then they were talking definitely Europa League, and maybe the rot set in then. They fell away towards the end of the season, didn't they? And they just continued that really this season.
I think this time last season Sheffield United were around 7th in the Premier League table. They were one of many clubs who suffered after lockdown with the Premier League restart. Leicester City, of course, were another one of those teams. 2 wins in their final 9 games as their top 4 aspirations and their hopes of being in the Champions League fell away last year. But Brendan Rodgers will hope on this occasion that Leicester City, who've handled, I think, the dual campaign with the Europa League and all that comes with it, the challenges of playing Thursday, Sunday extremely well, and they're still in the mix and looking on this occasion to hold out. 0-0 though, Fofana coming forward. Midway through the Sheffield United half towards Vardy. Brian holds him off, and then he gives Vardy an opportunity, gets the shot away, strikes the knees of Ramsdale, up in the air it goes, and Ramsdale quickly catches the ball, but Brian gave Vardy the opportunity.
Yeah, that would have been a good goal. Leicester had the ball for a lot of passes here, and as you say, Brian, just clear your lanes. He's trying to be clever, he turns back inside, Vardy reads it. Jamie Vardy will be disappointed with the finish there. He's just lashed his left foot at it, and really when you look at it, he had time to pick his spot.
Well, you wouldn't be surprised if he was to pop up with a goal today against Sheffield United. He's scored 2 and assisted 1 in all 3 Premier League games against Sheffield United. And sometimes you do get that, don't you, where you just get a bit of you're either a bit of a lucky omen. Sometimes it goes against you and you can have an Indian sign over a certain team. But 0-0, 19 minutes played. Free kick though to Sheffield United, and they'll be grateful of this, because in open play they've created nothing in open play. I
was looking at when you always look at 2 teams when they're laying up, stand by each other, don't you? And Sheffield United have got definitely a bit of a height advantage, but you're looking for a good delivery. It's a decent area.
Fleck's going to take the free kick. Far side to left, playing from left to right, in it goes, headed out by Evans inside the penalty area, headed back by Baldock, headed further on then by Norwood, cleared by Leicester City to Perez. Baldock though wins the ball back for Sheffield United, and on the overlap is Brian actually popping up on this right hand side. His cross is charged down, still goes in field, and on the edge of the D there was Ricardo to find Ndidi. Ndidi now out towards the Leicester City right, over the halfway line. Iheanacho, forward ball again. Funny enough, it goes out for a goal kick, but since you said Leicester want to try that ball over the top. They must have tried it about 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, and I mean, if you've got time on the ball around that area, and Sheffield United are playing a little, wanting to hold the line, there's a big gap between them to keep. It's got to be right, obviously, but he actually forced that there for me.
Bringing the ball out of defence from taking the goal kick short was Ampadu. He then retreats, passes the ball back. Ramsdale floats it out to Basham. Lundstram spreads play across towards the far side to Bryan. He was barracked, was John Lundstram last week as he came out into the car park at Bramall Lane. I was just chatting to a couple of officials, and as he was making his way to his car, there was a couple of supporters who shouted a few things in the direction of John Lundstram, not necessarily for repeating on a Sunday afternoon. Wouldn't want to upset any mothers. And happy Mother's Day to everybody who's out there as well. 21 minutes played, 0-0 it remains. Ball with Fofana. Here is Evans, and then Ndidi under pressure from Norwood, and they go all the way back to Schmeichel.
Well, Sheffield United at the minute 0-0. They are playing a back 5, and when you look at it, it is a 5 at times, but Leicester getting good possession. Leicester's been they need that goal, simple as that. They're in control of the game, they're dictating the pace, they're the team in possession most of the time, but they've got to put the ball in the net to bring the Sheffield United team out.
Tielemans to Castagne, left wing back, inside to Perez. With a late challenge, Baldock on Castagne, spotted by referee Peter Banks, tried to let the game flow, brings it back, free kick.
Baldock, I've got to say, gives far too many free kicks away every time we watch Sheffield United, which puts him in difficult situations at times. There's no need for it.
Leicester City go all the way back to Schmeichel. Brendan Rodgers with his arms behind his back, watching on, arms folded. Paul Heckingbottom. Leicester City have created 2 opportunities so far. Perez with a header hitting the post, and Vardy having a shot saved by Ramsdale. Perez on the stretch couldn't control that forward ball. Bryan to Fleck, holds off Ricardo, still snapping away at him, and then throwing himself forward to get the free kick was Fleck, but I'm sure that there was a foul somewhere in there. Free kick again to Sheffield United, 0-0 midway through the first half.
Well, good run by John Fleck, very positive, goes past the cup, but it was a free kick. Again, it's 35-40 yards up the field, 30 yards. Leicester hold the 18-yard line. It's got to be a good delivery from you. I think Norwood's going to take it with his right foot.
So quite a high line for Leicester City, all in royal blue, just on the outside, on the outskirts of that D. So that gives you an indication of how well they're protecting Peter Schmeichel inside his penalty area, and he's poised to come forward. In fact, it's Fleck who delivers the ball in, comes off the head of Soyuncu, only as far as Baldock, didn't hit that at all very cleanly. And Norwood helps win it back in the challenge with Iheanacho. Fleck's forward ball, Sharp's on the left-hand side, now inside to Norwood, 30 yards out from goal, 0-0. Joining the attack is Basham. Basham has Lundstram on this right-hand side, and then he hits a ball forward. It goes out towards the Sheffield United left, and it's headed away by Ricardo. And what was a promising position has quickly faded away, and now they look to try and get Vardy clear, and Vardy will keep the ball in play for Leicester City on the left. Flags up.
Just offside. That's not a bad ball, especially when Sheffield United are putting pressure on Leicester City high up the field. That is a good ball with the pace of Vardy. We know how well he deals with that on the shoulder, ball over the top, and he just went a fraction too early.
I was looking to see what Paul Heckingbottom's, in his first ever game as a manager, what it was like. He was caretaker manager of Barnsley, 14th of February 2015, and lost 5-1 at Crawley. Dean Saunders was actually in charge of Crawley that day. So 0-0 with 25 minutes played. He'll be touching wood, and he'll be thinking, well, it's been a better start so far as his first game as the interim manager of Sheffield United. His first game in charge of Leeds was actually against the Blades, and they won by 2-1. Fleck for Sheffield United, still at 0-0. We've been playing for 25 minutes. Turns away, tries to get free and wriggles away from Ndidi. Far side, looking for the run of Burke. Soyuncu covering, heads it back to Schmeichel. Not tested Schmeichel at all, have they?
No, not a thing. But they've had a good shape. They're working hard, and as you expect, Leicester, who have had 2 or 3 decent chances, will be disappointed they're not. And I think they need that goal to get a bit more space and time.
Still Leicester 0, Sheffield United 0. Ampadu with the back pass, Vardy in pursuit, played forward by Ramsdale, and Norwood lays it off. Now to Basham on this near side, the right, just shy of the halfway line, and then they go back, and Ampadu will run forward, closed down by Perez, goes out to the left to that far side, played forward by Bryan towards Sharp. Fofana though will climb over the back of him to beat him in the air, and those pink shirts are being forced to retreat once more because the home side with Ndidi passes the ball out to Ricardo, just in from the right touch line, finds Perez. Ricardo was fouled after the ball. The referee's played the advantage into Iheanacho, held up a little bit by Ampadu, drops to his knees, manages to clear the ball, and now Baldock will get there before Castagnet, and Sheffield United should clear, charged down by Castagnet. And that's another indication. I mean, Ricardo's having a go at referee Peter Banks, but he's trying to let the game flow. You don't mind that for a referee, do you?
No, you want to see the game flow, obviously. Too many stops, and ball and Johnny Evans, no, did not get that. Knew nothing about it. But Leicester at the minute, just sort of some nice play, getting in the final third, and it's again, you're looking for quality.
Ball forward by Evans, headed away by Ampadu. They haven't had that sustained spell of pressure on the Sheffield United defence though as yet, have they, the home side?
No, as I say, they're playing some nice football, Leicester, which you expect, let's be honest, but you just think sometimes, can you up the tempo a bit, can you pen them in and keep them in there? They don't. It falls down very easy, and Sheffield United can clear their lanes, and then Leicester's got to start again.
Tomorrow night, after the Monday Night Club, we'll have Wolves against Liverpool. Tuesday, it's Manchester City against Borussia Mönchengladbach. More Champions League action on Wednesday. Chelsea against Atletico Madrid. Milan, Manchester United in the Europa League on Thursday. And Friday, back to the Premier League, Fulham against Leeds. Vardy to Perez, challenged. Timely challenge too. Ampadu brings the ball out of defence. Ampadu's still going. Again, the referee, Peter Banks, trying to let the game flow, because he was pulled back there, was Ampadu, and eventually he was dispossessed. Now it's with Ndidi. Still 0-0. BBC Radio 5 Live, and we're approaching the half hour here at the King Power. Leicester City against Sheffield United. Norwich City earlier beating Sheffield Wednesday 2-1 in the Championship. 10 points clear, and what a result for Brighton and Hove Albion. 2-1 winners at Southampton. So they go above Newcastle United now, and they are 3 points clear of Fulham, and still with a game in hand. Leicester go all the way back to Schmeichel, and here is Evans, Soyuncu, inside to Tielemans, and Ndidi able to turn. Fofana now carries the ball into the Sheffield United half. Ricardo's ahead of him, but just coming across was Bryan, but actually presents the ball back to Ricardo, and in the end it was a good old tussle. It was fortunate to see it go from behind for a goal kick, was Bryan, because Ricardo was trying to get in round the back. Goal kick, 0-0.
Yeah, they keep knocking on the door, don't they? But they get that final third, and it just seemed to either have a touch too much, or they don't have the composure to see that pass or have that shot. You can see, you miss players like Maddison, Barnes. They've got goals in them, they've got creativity in them, and Perez and Iheanacho, they're honest, they're genuine, but they're not Maddison and they're not Barnes. And this is a big miss. Yes, you cannot fault them, they're trying to, but they lack that bit of quality in the final third. You need that type of player, and I think Sheffield United suffered a lot this season because they haven't got that type of player.
Well, we talk about the results from yesterday for the race for the top four, and Chelsea dropped points with that draw at Leeds United. Everton squandered an opportunity as well to maybe close the gap with that defeat, but it was a very good win for Burnley. And so Leicester City here have got an opportunity to kick on, but for Tottenham, if they were to stay like this, certainly would suit Tottenham ahead of the North London derby, because they still harbour hopes of getting back into the top four. What are the Spurs? 45 points, so 6 points behind Chelsea with still 2 games in hand. We'll have commentary of that with you coming up next at 4:30. John Murray and Clinton Morrison, part of 5 Live's Premier League Sunday, but half an hour played, 0-0 here at the King Power. Baldock plays it back, Norwood whips it in and goes towards the far post, came off the head I think of Basham. It's going to be kept alive by Sharp far side, back then now to Fleck on the left hand side, held up by Ricardo, tries to get away but he's got his back to goal, plays the ball back 35 yards out to Brian, and all of a sudden Sheffield United have lost the ball and Iheanacho runs forward and Leicester City on the counter-attack, but coming back was Brian to take it off the toes of Iheanacho. The pink shirts are back in number, even though that Vardy has the ball at his feet. He should be dealt with, and the cross from Vardy goes straight towards Ramsdale.
Great chasing by Jamie Vardy, but end product, nothing in the box he didn't need. I think he tried to play it off Brian actually to get a throw in, but you know, they're talking about Iheanacho before the game, and will he take over from VAR? The problem you've got is he does things brilliant at times, Ian, but a lot of times he gives the ball away. I don't know if it's concentration or what with him. He does something great and you think, good, that's really good play, and then the next time he gets it, he gives it away, he falls over it. Something happens where you think he's got to try and, I don't know if it's concentration levels or whatever with him, but he's got to try and put it together more to be consistent if he wants to have a regular shirt when everybody's fit.
The familiar voice of Chris Waddle on BBC Radio 5 Live. 13 minutes to go to half time, still goalless at the King Power. Burke looked like he was coming from an offside position, but the flag had stayed down, and it will be a Sheffield United throw in that Ender Stevens is going to take. He just has to pick up a replacement ball off that small white cone over on the far side. Deep inside the Leicester half, Stevens gets it back, plays it back to Fleck, and doesn't keep the ball in play. It'll be a Leicester City throw.
Sheffield United's been honest, haven't they? They shape up about them. They're not giving any gifts away. They're working ever so hard, but again, they've not shown anything really going forward.
No, but I think they are an honest group of lads that I think certainly overachieved last year. Chris Wilder did a terrific job in where they were, and then for a combination of reasons this time just haven't been able to reproduce it. But if you look at the defeats, and we said before that they've had 22 defeats this season, 14 of those 22 defeats have been just by a single goal margin. That tells you everything about how they try to stick at games. They are still a difficult side to break down, as Leicester City are finding here today at 0-0. Let's get an update from the Women's League Cup final, Bristol City Chelsea. Jackie Oatley.
And it's taken just 90 seconds for the league leaders Chelsea to take the lead against the side that is second from bottom. They really didn't need this, Bristol City, but it was well worked. It was Guro Reiten, the Norwegian, back in the side today. Through the centre, found Fran Kirby, scampered into the box, and she squared it across the face of goal to the Australian captain Sam Kerr to tap home from a yard out. It is Bristol City 0, Chelsea 1.
And here we've got 11 minutes to go to half time, and it's still 0-0. And goal mouth activity has been few and far between.
Well, Leicester will probably think they've had 2 good chances. In my eyes, Vardy should have, and the header which Perez had, which is a good save by Ramsdale, by the way. I saw the replay, it was a very good save onto the post, but apart from that, nothing else really.
Terry Butcher raised the bar yesterday, your old teammate from Italia 90, of course, with England. He brought a treat at half-time, sausage rolls. Just wondered what's maybe in that black bag of yours. Any little treats?
You can have a pair of blue gloves. Or you can wear me flat cap.
Cross comes in from Sheffield United on the left-hand side. Baldock controls it out of the penalty area to Norwood. And then the interception from Tielemans, infield to Perez. He'll leave it for Ndidi as Perez goes on ahead of him. Ball passed out towards the far side to Ricardo. Fofana joins the attack, finds a little bit of space, darts into it. Midway through the Sheffield United half at 0-0. Tielemans is going to shoot from distance. Took a deflection, goes behind.
Ampadu got a block on it, didn't he? He read it,
corner,
slid across the box. What was he, 12 yards out? Well, it was on target. We're going to see it now, obviously on a replay. Tielemans, it's worth a pop. And by the way, it was heading for the bottom corner. I think Ramsey might have got it, but it's a corner.
A corner to Leicester.
First corner? Oh, second corner.
Second corner, yeah. Tielemans is going to take on this near side, the left, playing from right to left. The left arm is aloft. It's taken right footed, hit quite low towards the near post, cleared by Norwood, out of play for a throw. You wouldn't advise eating the flat cap then, would you?
I said flat cap, not flapjack.
Could murder a flapjack, by the way. Oh, you have got something in there. Yeah, you little devil.
Yep. 2016 that was.
Here is Castagnet to Iheanacho. Soyuncu infield. Evans across to Fofana. Sheffield United have everybody back inside their own half, and it's still 0-0. And Ndidi now with Soyuncu.
Well, if Leicester's going to win this year, and they're going to be patient, which they are, give them credit, but there needs something to happen in that final third. At the minute, up to there, they're playing nice football. They haven't got a cutting edge.
No, they're cutting edge, and also they've played some nice football in the build-up, but there hasn't been too much penetration from Leicester.
You know, the way they've played, you would imagine, you can picture Maddison getting on the ball a lot here.
Yeah.
The way they've played, and things would happen, I'm sure. But it's not really Perez's game. So it's very difficult, you know, as a player to play a certain way. That's where maybe you may go to a three up front with Albright and maybe Wade, because he can deliver crosses and he can ask questions with his deliveries.
From a Sheffield United point of view, the resolve of these players still working hard. Anybody who thought, you know, how would they respond after the departure of Chris Wilder, and you said, well, they're professional footballers, and you can't question the character of these players at all, can you?
I think it's all about the goalie and the first goal. If Sheffield United get it, I think they can grow into this game and really something to work for. But if they go one down, the way they're set up and playing, if they come out, I think it'll suit Leicester.
It was Soyuncu who tried to drill a ball across to Fofana, the interception from Sharp, and the rebound fell away from him. Leicester City, though, are having it now, and they're with Ndidi just outside the centre circle of the Sheffield United half. Soyuncu, Castagnet on this near side, the left. Now to Tielemans forward ball. Perez on the half turn, tries to get Vardy round the back of Basham. Vardy does get there to Iheanacho. Well worked goal from Leicester City, and their patience paid off, and Vardy with the assist, and Iheanacho for the first time in his Premier League career makes it 3 goals in 3 games to give Leicester City the lead, 1-0.
What a good goal as well. I mean, we've said they've in that final third, they've been up there a few times, and you're looking for quality. This was a well-worked goal. Bit of tempo about it, comes into Tielemans, great ball. Watch the eyes, Perez, lovely outside the flick. Vardy using his pace, whips it across the 6-yard line. Brian, could he have done a little bit more? Where's the man behind us? But it's a great finish, simple finish for Nacho. Side foot, right foot. Great ball by Vardy, Tielemans, Perez. Now what we're going to see with Sheffield United is, are they going to come out?
Very well worked goal from Leicester City, who lead 6 minutes before half time. Let's check back in on that T20 in the cricket. India against England. Jonathan Agnew.
Well, on a normal day I'd have heard the roar from Leicester up here in Melton Mowbray, but maybe in a few months. I should mention, by the way, in the match I'm watching at home about here, it's half full, this stadium, so all you football types listening, half full with 70,000 people in it. Gives you an idea of what an enormous stadium they're playing in Ahmedabad. Jason Roy's out, terrific innings I think this under the circumstances. Leicester's not a great pitch. He's really had to work hard to get to 46 from 35 balls and a couple of sixes in that. He was caught out in the deep. So it's now Bairstow and Morgan. Bairstow 12, Morgan 5. 97 for 3, England in the 12th over now.
And I bet they do lovely sausage rolls in Melton Mowbray, as well as the pies.
Pies, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pies.
5 minutes to go to half time. I'm not doing myself any favours. 2 o'clock kickoffs played havoc with my system today. 1-0. But Leicester City are 1-0 up. And it was worth the wait, the goal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
To be fair.
Great goal. Well worked. Made it look easy. But yeah, everything was right about it, wasn't it? The pass, the flick by Perez to get Vardy away. Brilliant. And Inacho, simple tap in, but you've got to be there. 3-4 yards out.
And Leicester City still coming forward as well, as they're looking to add to that Iheanacho that goal. But first time he's scored in 3 successive games, and this I think is his 133rd game of his Premier League career, so he's very much in form and takes his tally to 8 for the season. But said before about Vardy's record against Sheffield United, he's now scored 2 and assisted 2 in this his 4th game against Sheffield United. He just loves to produce, although Jamie Vardy, 1 goal in 14, he'd love to try and get on the score sheet as well. But more importantly, from a Leicester point of view, it's going to take them second in the table as things stand. Manchester United, of course, will have a chance to respond in the 7:15 game that you can hear on 5 Live later with Vicky Sparks and Michael Brown. Manchester United against West Ham United, but West Ham might have something to say about that, so that's going to be a very important game as far as Champions League football next season is concerned, as we're approaching half-time here at the King Power. Ramsdale playing the ball forward up towards the halfway line, over the head of Burke. There's no McGoldrick, and I can only presume that he's injured, because he doesn't feature even on the substitutes bench, who's probably been one of Sheffield United's better players in what's been a difficult season for them.
Yeah, as I say, the thing they lack Sheffield United, and they've never addressed to her, is that creative type player who can make things happen. Like a Maddison, that type of player they've not really ever, and he was probably the nearest they had to it, to be honest.
Castagnier out to Fofana. Fofana joins the attack. Ricardo's ahead of him, level with the penalty area right hand side. Leicester lead by a 1-0. Iheanacho gets the shot away, and then slips. Still alive though for Leicester, back with Ricardo, tries to get it back to Iheanacho. Out of play it goes for a throw. Another goal at Vicarage Road in the Women's League Cup final. Jackie Oatley.
And it's another goal for Sam Kerr. She's already on a hat-trick after 10 minutes played. This time Chelsea winning the ball back from Fleming, and she played the ball to Kirby, and once again she assisted for Kerr to rifle the ball home left-footed. It is Bristol City 0, Chelsea 2 with 12 minutes played now.
Thanks, Jackie. 2 minutes to go to half-time. Leicester lead by a 0. Evans and Didi. Iheanacho, the goal scorer, running away from goal as Leicester play in all royal blue from right to left. Evans back out, very comfortable the home side.
Oh yeah, I mean, as I say, Sheffield United's had a lane of 5, let's be honest, most of the game, and but Leicester's dominated. Tielemans and Didi in midfield have had so much time and space. Perez has been in and out of the game, to be honest, but yes, Sheffield United played 3 in there, but they play right, centre and left, and really they've got to try and push up.
Ball forward towards Vardy, came off the head of Basham, still reached Jamie Vardy, almost a walking pace, just a lazy strike of the ball back to Castagnier. Tielemans played off inside now, and Didi, he finds Iheanacho, who's going to shoot from distance, charged down by Stevens, comes out to Fofana, cushion header inside to Tielemans, and Leicester City keeping the ball. Soyuncu, and now with Johnny Evans, but Leicester City in total and utter control of this Premier League contest.
Well, if you look at the midfield in Didi and Tielemans go and get the ball off the back 3, with good movement, they come wide, they go inside. Perez is floating behind Vardy and Iheanacho. But you look at the Sheffield United 3, it's like right, centre, left, so they never go and push on to Tielemans, they don't go and push on to Didi. And Leicester have always got an out ball. It's very easy for them to keep possession.
Evans at the back, coming under pressure from Burke, clears it up towards Vardy. Inside the last 30 seconds of normal time. Can't recall too many stoppages, can you, in this first half?
No.
So we might not have any added on time from referee Peter Banks, with Leicester leading by a goal to nil. On that far side, it's Stevens, forward to Burke. A little push in the back, maybe, did he? The referee says no from Evans, who brings the ball clear. Just the 60 seconds which we're now into on BBC Radio 5 Live, and Leicester City lead by a goal to nil, still have the ball, and it's with Ndidi to Soyuncu. Soyuncu goes back inside. Johnny Evans midway through his own half, but a very, very gentle and steady pace from the home team. And Evans, no pressure on that back line whatsoever from the Sheffield United players. And Fofana just strokes it back to Schmeichel. Soyuncu comes out to this near side, forward to Perez, and Perez will go all the way back, just about seeing out the additional 60 seconds, making sure there's no mistakes at the back. Forward ball to Soyuncu, off the chest and then the thigh by Perez. High ball out towards the far side, headed away by Stevens, but only as far as Fofana, and Ndidi forces Fofana out wide as the referee blows his half-time whistle. So very comfortable for Leicester City. They hit the post through a Perez header. Vardy had a shot saved by the legs of Ramsdale, but they've always dominated. Just a question of when would they create that opportunity, and they did so 6 minutes before the break with a well-worked goal for Iheanacho.
Well, you've got to say Leicester full of confidence, got a good shape to them, but they've dictated the game. They've had the ball, and you just wonder, to me, they've created 3 good chances, scored 1. Sheffield United haven't had anything. I can't remember Schmeichel having a save to make or anything where there was a problem. So whether Sheffield United is going to come out the second half and play a lot higher and go for it, they've got nothing to lose. They might as well go for it, which will help Leicester. But it was all important in getting that goal, and Leicester got it.
Yep, and it was Iheanacho 3-3, half-time at the King Power Stadium. It's Leicester City 1, Sheffield United 0.
It's a really nice, smooth goal, that, Chris, wasn't it?
Oh, lovely football, and this is what Leicester have got. Listen, I know they've got injuries and we talk about certain players, but Perez has grown into that role behind the front two. He's took up some good areas. They've been a bit wasteful at times in that final third, but that was a great goal. Good passing, interchange, and Vardy just puts it on a plate, doesn't he, for Iheanacho? And you've got to say Leicester, if anybody's deserved the goal, Leicester have, because Sheffield United's come here, and you could say really parked the bus a little bit and tried to catch them on the break, but they've not had one attempt.
Chris, Ian, thank you very much for the time being. So, Leicester lead Sheffield United by a goal to nil at half-time. Kelechi Iheanacho, as Ian was saying, 3 consecutive Premier League games he scored in for the first time in his career. If it stays like that, Leicester will go up to 56 points. They'll go second in the table. But almost more importantly, they will go 8 points clear of West Ham in 5th, the other side of the Champions League places, albeit West Ham have 2 games in hand, and one of them is live later on Premier League Sunday when they go to Manchester United. Full commentary of that at 7:15. Coming up next, we'll make our first trip of the afternoon to the Emirates. The North London derby, Arsenal versus Tottenham, is live on Premier League Sunday at 4:30. We'll also get reaction from Graham Potter after Brighton's vital victory down at the bottom of the Premier League over Southampton in the early kick-off. Let's get the news now on 5 Live. Here's Stuart Clarkson.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thank you. The Liberal Democrats have called on the Met Police Commissioner, Dame Cressida Dick, to resign after officers clashed with women at an unauthorised vigil in South London last night for Sarah Everard. The Home Secretary, Priti Patel, has asked the Met to explain their actions. Labour says it will vote against a bill in Parliament this week that would give the police more powers to impose restrictions on non-violent protests. It says it wants the proposed legislation to be widened to address violence against women. The party insists it supports a number of other measures contained in the bill. The Foreign Secretary says Tehran has deliberately put the British-Iranian woman Nazanin Zaghari-Ratcliffe through a cruel and inhumane ordeal in charging her with new offences. She was freed from a 5-year sentence last week. Dominic Raab says she must be allowed to return to the UK without further delay. The full impact of the coronavirus pandemic on Britain's high streets has yet to be felt, according to a report from the accountants PwC. It says more than 17,500 chain stores and hospitality and leisure outlets closed their doors last year. And British Airways says passengers will be able to register their COVID vaccination status on its smartphone app to make it easier for them to prove that they're safe to travel. International travel restrictions are expected to be lifted from the 17th of May at the earliest.
Top Gear is back on BBC One.
Come on, lads!
With a bit of this.
Just going down a runway on my feet. No idea how fast I'm going.
It's not fully in control of that. I'm just going to stand here.
Some of this.
105. Consider me shaken.
110.
And very stern. That is ridiculous.
And a whole lot of this.
Get in your car.
I want Irish on the stopwatch.
No, I'm timing you.
Pass it over.
Sit down.
Brand new Top Gear returns tonight at 8 on BBC One and iPlayer.
More live Premier League football than anyone else.
5 Lives Premier League Sunday
With Steve Crossman.
If you head on over to the BBC Sport website, you can listen to live commentary now of the Women's League Cup final from Vicarage Road. Although, Jackie Oatley, if you're a Bristol City fan, maybe not.
Yes, you might be watching from behind the sofa. I mean, it is Bristol City 0, Chelsea 2 with 20 minutes played, and I'm afraid it is a complete mismatch in terms of budgets, you have to say, and it's playing out that way on the pitch as Frank Kirby looks to race clear once again. I mean, Chelsea have started the world record signing on the bench because they've got so many games coming up as they look for a third goal once again, whereas Bristol City haven't been able to pay a single penny for any of their players, and they have some part-timers as well who are topping up their £9,000 salaries with delivering parcels in the afternoon. So it's not a surprise maybe it took 90 seconds for Sam Kerr to tap home after Frank Kirby played her in. The same two players combining again after 10 minutes. Lovely finish this time from Sam Kerr, left-footed, rifling across the face of the goalkeeper. Kerr could have had a hat-trick. She's headed wide, and so has the captain Eriksson. It is Bristol City 0, Chelsea 2.
Thank you very much, Jackie. The final Six Nations match of the weekend is about to kick off. Scotland, Ireland at Murrayfield at 3 o'clock. It's live for you on 5 Live Sports Extra and BBC One. Sarah Archer's going to be watching for us and watching what is Scotland's first game in a month, Sarah.
Yeah, that's right. Gregor Townsend's team haven't played now since round 2. If you don't know why, that was after the France team had their COVID outbreak after Wafflegate. We won't go into that now, but there is still the sort of all that excitement surrounding this Scottish side because remember they did have that great win against England in round 1. Then they had the game against Wales where they went down to just 14 men for sort of the last 20 minutes. But the sobering fact remains that when it comes to Scotland and Ireland, Scotland have won just one of their last 10 meetings, losing the last 5. So Scotland have really got a battle with a bit of history today. And Gregor Townsend, he's made 4 changes, including the return from injury of Edinburgh's Jamie Ritchie. Also, you'll see Saracen's Sean Maitland returning to the right wing. So, yeah, interesting times for Scotland to really step up today.
Yeah, if it's interesting times for Scotland, what is it for Ireland?
Oh, well, I think the rebuilding tag, Steve, is beginning to grate a little bit with the Irish fans. They want to see results now, and I think the head coach, Andy Farrell, he knows that his side need a big performance today. They only have the one win against Italy, so they've lost to Wales and France, and the reality is if they lose today, they're probably going to finish in the bottom half of the Six Nations table for the first time in 8 years. Now, Andy Farrell, he has made 3 changes. It includes the return of the incredible ongoing Cian Healy. He's winning his 108th cap today in the front row alongside Rob Herring. He also returns. But special mention to the Munster number 8, CJ Stander. He wins his 50th cap today. So, yeah, plenty to play for here for both sides, but for very different reasons.
Sarah, thank you very much. Latest score in the Gallagher Premiership, by the way, is London Irish 20, Worcester Warriors 17. Let's take you back to Ahmedabad and the second T20 game between India and England. Jonathan Agnew's watching alongside Tamal Mills.
Trying to watch, my pictures have gone down, but never mind. I'm sure we'll work our way through this. One of the hazards of the current life, isn't it? 122 for 4. So in the 15th over, quite a key point in this game. I think what is a good score on this pitch? Certainly more, I think, than the pitch of 2 nights ago. But is it a 170, 180? We shall see. At the moment, Ben Stokes has just joined Owen Morgan. Morgan's on 18 not out. Ben Stokes has just got himself off the mark. They lost Johnny Bairstow most recently. He was caught out in the deep, which tends to be in the way so far. Going for a big hit. He'd already hit 1-6, but he was caught in the deep for 20. So help me out, Tamal. This feels like an important stage in the game.
Yeah, it is. It's just kind of heating up, isn't it, as we get into the back end. India have been poor in the field, haven't they? They've dropped catches, they've let balls go through their legs for boundaries. Virat Kohli, the captain, he's not the best at hiding his emotions. He's been quite visibly upset with his team. But at the second time of asking, Surya Kumar Yadav takes the catch of Johnny Bairstow. He would have... I'm not sure he'd ever played again for India if he would have dropped that one again.
It's his debut as well.
Exactly, but it's coming up to a really important time, as you saw. Owen Morgan's just hit a boundary as I speak now, so he's going nicely. He goes on to 22 from 13.
You played so many of these games, Tamal. How do you judge what that target has to be? Because that's what the batting side is doing first, isn't it? All the way through from almost the first over, thinking, right, we think 150, 160, 170, 180.
Yeah, well, it's ultimately it's impossible, isn't it, to predict the future. You just got to go out there and try and stay in the moment as much as you can. All those cliches that you speak about, you've got to assess the conditions as you go. You've got to relay that information back to the dressing room, to the new batters that are coming to the crease. And then once you obviously get to that last 2-3 overs, then it's just a case of trying to score as many runs as you can. England do back quite deep. Obviously, you've got both the currents, Sam and Tom, to come in next, Jofra Archer, Chris Jordan. So lots of batting still to come for England, so they can be nice and aggressive now these last 5 overs.
Just a quick one on Mark Wood. We talk about him all the time, don't we, in his fitness and so on. Well, he's got a bruised heel after one outing again the other day. It's a big year for him, isn't it?
Yeah, huge. It's a huge year for English cricket. There's a lot of potential cricket to be played. He's in and out of the Test squad, but they'll be looking when they get to Australia at the back end of the year. They'll really want him for that Ashes tour, won't they? But before that, he got obviously a full series here. He pulled himself out of the IPL auction. I'm sure he would have got picked up there to try and keep fresh for the English year. It's a huge year. Now, we will be disappointed if he's got a bruised heel, because obviously that can get quite nasty, especially if it's on your front foot, where you're putting a lot of pressure and you're landing on it every time you bowl, obviously. So they're obviously having to be very conservative, because he, in theory, will play a big part for England in all formats this year.
Thanks, Tamal. 129 for 4. Steve, I've got a screwdriver. I've got to do something with my network settings, apparently, so maybe some time.
Yeah, I imagine some Indian fans will be hoping their TV worked as well as yours in the next few overs. Jonathan, Tamal, thank you very much. England going very nicely. They're 129 for 4 off 15 overs. Salford City's reign as EFL trophy holders is going to come to an end shortly. Their long reign of roughly 24 hours. They beat Portsmouth in last season's final on penalties yesterday, and even since then Portsmouth have sacked their manager Kenny Jackett. This season's final kicks off at 3. It's Sunderland of League 1 against Tranmere Rovers of League 2, and Gary Flintoff's at Wembley.
Yes, Stephen, both teams are out. They're just lining up before the game, and the national anthem is about to start as well, so you may wish to come back to me in a moment.
OK, no problem. Yeah, never want to interrupt that, but it does sound lovely in the background. Let's get some reaction to Brighton's victory over Southampton then. Huge win for them. It moves them 3 points above Fulham in the relegation zone, and Brighton have that game in hand. Here's their manager Graham Potter with Kelly Somers.
Graham, you've been telling us this belief that you have in your team, but is that the performance and the result that you've been waiting for?
Yeah, it was. I thought it was a deserved victory. Full credit to the players. We had to adapt. We lost Dan at half-time with a tight hamstring, and still we had to adapt, and I thought we did it really well. Second half was a really good goal, and when we had to defend, of course, you have to defend against a team that plays with a huge personality and intensity, but overall, so proud of the players.
Were there a few nervy moments at the end? Because I know you've spoken recently about game management and perhaps not showing it against the likes of Palace and Leicester.
Yeah, and it's football at this level. In one action, something can go against you. That's how it is. But today we rode whatever luck we needed to do. There wasn't a VAR against us, and we managed to see it out. I felt quite comfortable second half, to be honest, even though, well, the score's only what it is. You're never comfortable. So, there was a few butterflies, shall we say.
That result does take you 3 points clear of Fulham in the drop zone now. Does that give you a little bit of breathing space?
Oh, it's not about that for us. We have to not worry about anybody else. We have to focus on us. We have to focus on getting the points. We haven't got enough points as it is, so we have to keep working. And the only way to do that is to focus on the next match, which is Newcastle. We'll do that, prepare, and go again.
That's Graham Potter. Gary Flintoff, are we clear?
Are clear. Timing is everything in this game, as you know, Steve. But in terms of this one, I mean, both sides are in form in their respective divisions, League 1 and in League 2, but Tranmere will feel the absence of 21-goal striker James Vaughan through injury, although in their favour, plenty of recent experience here of winning at Wembley. Sunderland, on the other hand, attempt to win here for the first time in 9 visits since Bob Stokoe, Jimmy Montgomery and Ian Porterfield worked their magic back in 1973. 4 changes for Sunderland, just the 1 for Tranmere. I was talking to club legends Pat Nevin and Kevin Phillips before this one, and both said to me, Steve, can you imagine the atmosphere here today?
Yeah, tell me about it. And the same is going to be true in the North London derby at the Emirates. Imagine having fans there. We do have our correspondent John Murray. Good afternoon, John.
Good afternoon, Steve. Actually, I was just I reminded myself yesterday that this game, the North London derby at the Tottenham Stadium earlier this season, was one of the matches where there were crowds allowed in, if you remember. So there were a couple of thousand people that did witness Tottenham's win earlier this season.
Yeah, and the question we're all asking is for those that are in the stadium or listening at home, will we witness Harry Kane?
Well, that's obviously the foremost question that I'll be looking to answer once the team news comes out over the course of the next half hour or so. So we'll find out, and obviously that's highly significant for Tottenham. But at the same time, Tottenham are on a very decent run of form at the moment, having won their last 5 matches, and they've put 7 points between themselves and Arsenal in the league. But most significantly, I think in terms of Tottenham's ambitions, they're 6 points behind Chelsea with 2 games in hand, and Chelsea, of course, in the Champions League positions currently.
And I suppose for all Arsenal's struggles, when Tottenham struggle, it makes it that bit easier. So if Spurs go 10 points above them, that's massively significant for Arsenal.
Well, I think you throw that in, you throw in the fact that were Tottenham to win here today, and they haven't won here in the Premier League against Arsenal since back in 2010. Were they to do that, it would be Arsenal's 12th Premier League defeat of the season. They'd have lost 6 times at the Emirates. So I think that would all be thrown into the mix in terms of the debate about where Arsenal are going.
John, thank you very much indeed. So we will have full commentary of the North London derby, Arsenal versus Tottenham, at 4:30. Teams just coming back out at the King Power Stadium. Before we go back there, back to the Women's League Cup final at Vicarage Road. Jackie Oatley.
It's now Bristol City 0, Chelsea 3. I'm afraid Bristol City have not helped themselves. You can talk about budgets as much as you like, but the goalkeeper Sophie Bagley, under pressure from Kerr, she played the ball straight to Fran Kirby. You can't do that 20 yards out because she went and chipped the keeper Bagley to make it Bristol City 0, Chelsea 3 after 31 minutes.
Paul Heckingbottom deep in conversation with Alan Knill and the rest of the Sheffield United coaching staff. They trail Leicester City thanks to Kelechi Iheanacho's goal in the first half. Second half commentary now then on Premier League Sunday with Chris Waddle and Ian Dennis.
Thank you, Steve. And the change has been made by Leicester City, and Albrighton has come on, and the player who has gone off is Ricardo. So that's the one change that Leicester City have made as Peter Banks blows his whistle, and we're back underway for the first of the 3 commentaries on 5 Live Premier League Sunday. Sheffield United are unchanged as Leicester lead by 1-0, and as you say, that goal from Iheanacho 6 minutes before half time. So for the home side, who are all in royal blue, playing from left to right as we look, Schmeichel is in goal. A back 3 of Fofana, Evans and Soyuncu. Albrighton now as the right wing back, Castagnier as the left wing back, with Ndidi and Tielemans in the midfield, and then you've got Perez, Iheanacho and Jamie Vardy. And certainly it's a goal that will be well worth watching on Match of the Day tonight with Mark Chapman at 10:30. As for Sheffield United, Ramsdale is in goal. So back 3 of Basham, Ampadu and Bryan, Baldock and Stevens are the wing backs, Norwood, Lundstrom, Fleck in the midfield, Sharp and Burke are up front, and Sheffield United in their pink shirts and grey shorts are playing from right to left on this overcast afternoon. Breezy, a little bit nippy as well, as a cross is played in on that far side and headed behind for a corner kick to Leicester City. Chris Waddle.
Yeah, Castagnier coming inside, he likes to come inside because he's right footed, and again they're letting him come inside, Sheffield United, and it's a decent ball in with pace, but Bryan heads it away for a corner very early in the second half.
So Leicester City have the corner on that far side that Tielemans is going to take. Light rain now falling. Tielemans in, doesn't beat the man on the near post, headed away by Norwood and out for a throw. Feels more like autumn than spring.
Winter. By the way, how many times you listen to commentaries and watch games where they say he's hit the first man?
Yeah.
It's really unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. That's not the first time today either, is it?
No.
Soyuncu. Evans in the centre circle, left-footed ball. Bryan stretching, heads it away. He'd anticipated that at Albrighton. He just took a step back to collect the ball. And Didi, Fofana. Vardy backheels the ball. Albrighton coming onto the ball. Vardy not involved. I think he may have been in offside position, but Sheffield United have it up towards Sharp. Just caught there from Soyuncu. Wins a free kick on the halfway line. Leicester still lead. Slender lead by a goal to nil.
Yeah, I'm sure Brendan Rodgers has said to Leicester, keep the tempo high first 15-20 minutes so they can get that second goal.
Out towards that far side. North London derby is our next commentary. We'll get the team news when it's available from John. As Perez, strong run coming forward, feeds it to Vardy, went to hit it first time. It's a very well timed sliding block by Bryan inside the penalty area. Vardy only had one thing on his mind there.
You just think Perez, could he have tightened that pass up? It was a bit loose and Vardy's ended up nearly getting hurt. It's a great block by Bryan. He really got across there and put a block on it. But the pass from Perez should have been a lot better.
Is the tempo of the game at the start of the second half a little bit quicker?
Yeah, definitely. As I say, I'm sure Brendan Rodgers had said played too slow. Let's move him around quicker and see if we can get that second goal.
Penalty in the Six Nations. Scotland, Ireland, Sarah Orchard.
Scotland 0, Ireland 3. 4 minutes played at Murrayfield, and it was calmly slotted by fly half Johnny Sexton after Finn Russell got stuck on the wrong side of a ruck, couldn't get out of the way, and that was Ireland's first entry into the 22. Scotland 0, Ireland 3.
That's on Sports Extra as well as BBC One. Ball inside. Perez returns the ball. Here is Albrighton now coming forward towards the far post. Iheanacho pulls it back. Vardy hasn't scored. It was either a combination of the bar or Basham, but somehow they've got it away.
Basham heads it, didn't he? I mean, what a goal that would have been. Brilliant play, calm heads, no panic. But Jamie Vardy will be disappointed he has not put that in the back of the net.
Well, he can't believe it. I mean, he's not having the best of runs at the minute. But as it was played back to him, Iheanacho just teed him up. And on the goal line, Basham headed the ball away. Very excellent goal line defending by Basham. Rocked him back at the other end. Burke missed it.
That was a good chance, wasn't it?
Was a good chance.
Great pull back by Stevens, was it? And Burke just mishits it slightly. He opens his foot up to side footed on the target from 6 yards. Just a bit loose, hits his toe, I think, and goes well wide.
Another goal in the Women's League Cup final at Vicarage Road. Jackie Oatley.
It's the Kerr and Kirby show for Chelsea. Bristol City 0, Chelsea 4 now. This time Sam Kerr has already scored a couple, has played in Fran Kirby for her second of the game, and it was a lovely ball through to her. She cut inside Purfield onto her right foot and played it past the goalkeeper. Bristol City 0, Chelsea 4 with 9 minutes to half-time.
Earlier, Southampton 1, Brighton and Hove Albion 2. Excellent result for Graham Potter's side in their fight against relegation. Norwich City coming from behind at Hillsborough in the Championship. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Norwich City 2. Daniel Farke's side 10 points clear now of second place Watford and heading for an immediate return to the Premier League as Norwood goes in for that 50-50 challenge with Perez. Talk about Sheffield United, I think, will always be compared to what's happened at Norwich, but that stabilising effect, not ones to panic. Well-run club. Stuart Webber doing a fine job at Carrow Road, and reaping the rewards as a result of that. Chris Waddle.
Yeah, you've got to give Norwich. I mean, they said, didn't they, when they got promoted last time, that it was a year too early. They weren't ready for it. They were obviously trying to get the club better organised, and they went up probably the season before they wanted to. So this time when you go up, it'll be interesting to see. And you've got to think that they are going to go up. What they're going to do this time by ways of spending.
Yeah, 79 points. Hard to see anything other than automatic promotion for Norwich City. Meanwhile, Sheffield United, trailing by a goal to nil, have a corner kick, right-hand side, in it goes, headed out by Evans, headed back by Norwood, headed further away by Fofana, who's been an excellent buy. Perez tried to get there. No free kick on Norwood and Perez, despite the appeals from Brendan Rodgers down below.
Well, he was actually shouting for a handball.
Was he?
Because as they both fall over, Norwood actually punches the ball slightly. He didn't mean to, I don't think so.
Here is Ndidi. Albrighton hits it early, over the top. Finds Vardy as well. Vardy now stretching, holds onto the ball midway through the Sheffield United half. Leading by a goal to nil. There is definitely a sharper tempo to this game. It's certainly been increased by Leicester City. Wouldn't say in the first half it was pedestrian, but they've stepped it up.
Yeah, but it looked like Leicester. It was like looking at Leicester. I will wait break for this. Well, looking for Leicester as if they were going to. We were expecting a lot more probably from Leicester from the off. Sheffield United obviously sat deep and thought, come and try and beat it. But since the goal's gone, I think both managers have said, look, you've got to up the tempo. It's not good enough.
It's certainly better as a spectacle as well with the increased tempo here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Leicester still lead by a goal to nil. Brian though. Sheffield United trailing. Pink shirts coming forward over the halfway line. Sharp. Stevens on this near side. Ndidi winning the ball back as he so often does. That's a clear foul. Yeah. Stevens again, good refereeing though from Peter Banks, playing the advantage. Up towards Iheanacho, half a clearance from a sliding Basham, picked back up by Vardy, who leaves it to Ndidi. And Ndidi and Vardy just almost side by side are in control for Leicester City as those royal blue shirts ripple in the stiff breeze in the grey and the wet of the East Midlands. Evans hits the ball forward, comes off the head of Vardy, directs it to Albrighton, the substitute, level with the penalty area near side the right, leading by a goal to nil. Vardy's now on the ball, goes inside, and Ndidi drops his shoulder, able to turn 360 degrees, playing in front of those pink shirts though at the minute, but now Albrighton tries to get Vardy round the back, barged over by Fleck. Free kick to Leicester City, who look to increase their lead.
Jamie Vardy's really enjoying himself today, and normally we're waiting for him to. He could have a goal, he could have had a couple of goals to be honest, but the second half he's really playing as a number 10 really. He's been everywhere, linking the play up. He's playing excellent.
And it was he with the assist for Iheanacho with the goal from close range after 39 minutes. And now Albrighton to take a free kick just in from the touchline, 10 yards up from the byline on this near side the right. Leicester City playing from left to right, so this should be an outswinger. Vardy, Iheanacho 6 yards out, and Ndidi's there, as is Fofana. In it goes now, over the head of everybody. It'll be Soyuncu who will keep it in play on that far side. Back to Perez. Leicester City go back, and a try at Murrayfield. Sarah Orchard.
Scotland 0, Ireland 8, 10 minutes on the clock. It was Robbie Henshaw who dotted down after their captain Johnny Sexton created total confusion and chaos in the Scotland try area. It's Scotland 10, Ireland 8.
You can watch that on BBC One. You can listen on 5 Live Sports Extra. Don't forget as well, BBC Sounds is perfect to listen to the radio as well, regardless of the station. BBC Sounds, download it on your app if you haven't already. Here we are on BBC Radio 5 Live. Leicester City leads Sheffield United by a goal to nil. And the beauty of BBC Sounds as well, you can listen to the various podcasts as well, regardless of what your choice of listening may well be. Soyuncu to Tielemans. Every pink shirt back behind the ball, but they're trying to squeeze up Sheffield United, playing that high line, or in the middle third of the pitch at the minute, as Ndidi spreads it out to Fofana on the stretch, couldn't keep the ball in play. 1-0 still to Leicester.
Well, I'm going to say it's a lovely play by Leicester, keeping the ball, but you've got to start saying to Sheffield United, you've got nothing to lose. You know, you've got to win games. You've got to go out and win games. Now, if you lose it 2 or 3, you lose it 2 or 3. You've got to go out and have a go. At the minute, they're just happy to sit there, and it looks like it's thinking, well, if we keep the score down, it doesn't look bad. But you can't. I mean, for me, the front two haven't had service, but you'd be looking to change them. You'd be looking somewhere in midfield. Maybe can we change it somehow to try and get something going forward? But they seem quite happy in just to sit.
He'd have been with you at Sunderland, wasn't it? The timeline, Paul Heckingbottom. He didn't make any appearances for Sunderland, but that's where he began. When you had that little spell there on Wearside.
Yeah, and about 11 games, something like that. Yeah. So, yeah, I think I remember him.
And we'll have news of Sunderland against Tranmere as well a little later on for the EFL Trophy for this year. After, of course, Salford City's success yesterday, and as a result of that, Kenny Jackett leaving his post at Portsmouth. Another penalty at Murrayfield, Sarah.
Scotland 3, Ireland 8. It's 12 minutes on the clock at Murrayfield. Finn Russell slotted that one for Scotland in their first attack down at the Ireland end. Scotland 3, Ireland 8.
Ian Atcho finds Ndidi. Leicester City still lead by 1-0. We're approaching the hour mark on BBC Radio 5 Live. Soyuncu just settles things down, goes out to the right, short and square. Evans forward to Fofana. Albrighton is ahead of him, goes infield, but again, it's very hard to see on the balance of play with nearly an hour played how Leicester City, and I know the lead is only a slender one, but they're so much in control of the game.
Yeah, exactly. The difference is unbelievable in the two teams. I'm looking at the clock here, and it's 57 coming up with 58 now, so do they make the subs at 60? I don't know what this thing is about 60 minutes. You know, it'll be right at 60 minutes now, let's make 2 changes. Why can't you do it at half time if it's not working? You know, is it do they give them 15-minute chance to say, can we? But look, I mean, if you look at Sheffield United now, look, it's just sit behind the ball. You're getting beat, you're going to get relegated.
Interesting, I've just seen a shot of Jason Tyndall. He is here, but he's in the director's box watching on. Alan Nill with the interim manager Paul Heckinbottom on the in the dugout. That's the team that will take Sheffield United to the end of the season after the departure of Chris Wilder. Basham didn't get there. Ian Atcho now has it. Forward ball. Vardy in the penalty area. Shoots first time. Saved by Ramsdale. Straight at the keeper.
Incredible, isn't it? Ian Atcho, great little ball there, wasn't it? Through by Vardy. Was on the run. Got away from Basham and Ampadu. But again, straight at Ramsdale. Good reaction save. But Jamie Vardy could have had a hat-trick.
Well, Basham did ever so well with a goal line clearance with his head, but that's the second time that Ramsdale has denied Vardy. All the chances have fallen to Leicester City, who lead by 1-0, but they've created at least another 5 opportunities. Vardy's hit the post. You had the goal line clearance from Basham.
It could have been 5 here, but what I'm saying is, it's very rare. It doesn't matter who you play against and how good they are. The other team always can get a chance, yes. And I'm sure they will get one.
Well, they've only scored 16 goals in the Premier League this season, and along with Derby, Villa and Huddersfield, they're the only 3 sides in the history of the Premier League who've scored fewer at this stage of a season. We mentioned Sunderland a short while ago at Wembley, taking on Tranmere Rovers. Gary Flintoff.
0-0 Ian, and an even start, although one moment of concern for Sunderland when goalkeeper Lee Burge almost fell over his own goal line making a simple catch. Chris Maguire has shot well wide for Sunderland. And one other quick thing to mention, no fans as you know, but virtual tickets have been sold by both sides. At kick-off, Sunderland had reached £158,000 and Tranmere £40,000. Both totals to be commended. It's 0-0.
Absolutely fantastic generosity from both sets of supporters. Sheffield United are going to be making a change. Mousset is coming on. Meanwhile, Tielemans forward shoots straight at the goalkeeper, Ramsdale.
He needed a shout there, and actually rolls him in. Great run by Tielemans. He needs a shout to say you've got time. He could have had a touch. He's hit it early, straight at Ramsdale. But Leicester totally in control here.
And here is Tielemans, and they're just looking for that second goal just to make the 3 points safe. But they are dictating the tempo, dominating in terms of possession. It is all Leicester City. It's one of the more comfortable 1-0 scorelines that you're likely to see. Lys Mousset is going to be coming on. As I drove away from Selhurst Park yesterday after watching Crystal Palace against West Bromwich Albion and making my way up the M1, and I was listening to 606, and there was a caller to Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage, and I was full in agreement for what he was talking about Sheffield United and Chris Wilder's departure, until he mentioned last season that Lys Mousset played like a Brazilian. And I'm thinking, well, at that point, I know he scored 6 goals, but he has he's been a disappointment as Mousse.
I was going to say his middle name Ronaldinho or something, but no, I think he struggled since he came. I mean, at Bournemouth he was in and out, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And since he's came here, he's I don't know. It just doesn't look as if he's up for it. You know, it doesn't look like he's there. I want a shirt. I want to have that shirt. I want to play every week. It doesn't seem as if he's got that about him.
5 goals in 3 seasons at Bournemouth. Scored 6 last season for Sheffield United, who have got a free kick.
They're coming off.
And a change is going to be made. So we'll go to Vicarage Road. Jackie Oatley.
Half-time in the Continental Cup final. It's Bristol City women 0, Chelsea 4. Women against girls, I'm afraid. England's Fran Kirby, Australia captain Sam Kerr sharing out the goals between them. Kirby should have had a hat-trick, but she was denied by the goalkeeper Bagley. Bristol City 0, Chelsea 4 at half-time.
Of course, there will be a 6:06 later on tonight after all the football. North London derby, Arsenal, Tottenham, followed by Manchester United against West Ham United. So Sheffield United still only trailing by a goal to 0. Been awarded this free kick just over 30 yards out from goal. They're playing from right to left. Norwood to take it, goes deep inside the penalty area, almost onto the head of Mousse. What an impact that would have been from the substitute. Leicester City able to clear. Albrighton wins the ball from Baldock, and now Leicester City on the counter-attack. Albrighton running forward over the halfway line, midway through the Sheffield United half. Inside finds Perez. Perez to the edge of the area. Perez shoots. Perez scores, and Leicester City increase their lead. Perez back in the side after injury makes it 2-0 to Leicester City, who are consolidating their place in the top 4 and their pursuit of Champions League football.
Well, you've got to say, a free kick, a dangerous free kick from Sheffield United. It goes in the box. You say Mousse looks like he's going to score. It's a great touch by Fofana to get it away from Mousse, and then Albrighton breaks. Baldock really should have won the ball. He doesn't. Albrighton breaks. Perez gets one touch when he's rolled inside. What is he, 20 yards out? First touch was great, and he just hits it across Ramsdale into the bottom corner, into that right-hand side of Ramsdale. It's a great finish, and you've got to say Perez has deserved it on his performance today. It's a great finish.
It was a very good finish from Perez, but as soon as Albrighton won that challenge in front of the dugout area here at King Power, you felt for them, then they were exposed.
Well, they've sat deep all day, and then they committed bodies forward for the free kick, which, as I say, they nearly got rewarded, apart from Fofana's great touch. But once they broke there, what a great finish by Perez.
Well, certainly as far as Leicester City are concerned, they've won all of their previous 3 games in the Premier League, netting exactly 2 goals each time, and that may well continue as they lead by 2-0. And even with 25 minutes remaining, you would think the points are safe now as far as Leicester City are concerned. Let's get an update from the cricket. India, England. Jonathan Agnew.
Well, England have made 164 for 6 from their 20. Only 15 4s and 2 6s, so 72 runs of those coming in boundaries. Suggests to me it's quite hard work, this pitch. Jason Roy, very good, 46. Malan, 24. Bairstow, 20. Owen Morgan, 28. Ben Stokes made 24. We'll see how England bowl. India need 165 to level the series.
2-0 then here to Leicester City. Arsenal, Tottenham to come, followed by Manchester United against West Ham. Soyuncu to Tielemans, and after losing against Arsenal and drawing against Burnley, they had that big win against Brighton and Hove Albion, and looking to follow that up here today after back-to-back defeats actually at the King Power against Slavia Prague and Arsenal. But once they'd got that first goal, never ever in doubt, has it?
No, you always think there's a chance, a set piece or a mistake or something could happen. You know, 1-0 is always a dangerous score. Doesn't matter what quality the opposition's been or you're playing against, they always seem to get a chance. As I say, it looked like Mousse was going to equalise, didn't it? Within 10 seconds, well, even less than 10 seconds, it was 2-0. So, but Leicester thoroughly deserved the lead, you've got to be honest.
Yeah.
It's not a foul.
No. Sharp was looking for a foul, wasn't awarded. Now Fofana by Fleck.
That was a foul. But listen, he had the shouts, didn't you, when Billy Sharp went down there? There was no foul in it. But not saying Billy Sharp was shouting, but the whole dugout and area around there screamed. But this time the referee didn't buy it.
Midway through the second half at the King Power Stadium on 5 Live, Leicester City 2, Sheffield United 0. Evans to Fofana, hits it early. Brian brings it under control. First touch though away from him, allows Iheanacho to get in there, spreads it out wide. Tielemans forward, now inside Castagnet to Ndidi. Fofana's joining the attack. Albrighton's also gone on ahead of him. Fofana's almost playing as a right wing back at the minute. That's meant to be Albrighton's position. Only now is Albrighton jogging back to provide the width, and they'll try and play in Albrighton here, but shows a little bit too much to Stevens. But when Sheffield United get the ball, they can't keep it.
Well, there you go. It's like, and it must get to your head, Ian, where you go and get the ball and you lose it within 5 seconds, and then you go and get it again, and you're going to lose it again. But mentally, the players must think, what is the point? But you can see they drained the confidence and belief in it at the minute, and Leicester full of confidence, having a great season again, and I've been very impressed with Fofana at the back. He's one of the young players, isn't he? And he's got a great future here. He's a very good player, great in the air, very competitive, good on the ball, excellent player.
Yeah, signed from Saint Etienne for just under £32 million, but he's just looks so accomplished. And as you say, what is he, 20 years of age, a 5-year deal, and I think it was when they saw him play against Paris Saint-Germain, and he put in a performance against Neymar and co, and that convinced them that even at £32 million in football terms, they thought that was still value for money.
I'll put it this way, Ian, at the minute he's probably worth double that already.
Yeah.
So, again, great bit of business by Leicester, and good scouting system Leicester have got.
Yeah, it's serving them very, very well. And Brendan Rodgers, I think, is contemplating a change with just over 20 minutes remaining on 5 Live, but Leicester City 2, Sheffield United 0. And it's just a question of maybe how many more goals Leicester City might want to get. They might get another one here. Vardy to Iheanacho, finished emphatically. And Jamie Vardy with the assist, and Iheanacho finds the back of the net yet again. And Sheffield United completely undone, but all credit to Jamie Vardy. 3 goals, 3 points, 3-0.
Yeah, again, Vardy, we're normally seeing him sticking in the net, but he's off the ball play today. He's been brilliant. His movement, as I say, it used to be one of them. If he didn't score, was he enough involved in the game? He's sort of put this to his game now, where he's become an all-round striker, where he makes great runs, takes up great positions, and his awareness has improved over the years. This is another fantastic goal by Leicester. Another breakaway pace. Vardy, once he gets turned, he's definitely on side. I'm looking at the replay here, but again, first time ball, his left foot. I just look at it. It's basically saying put us in the net, isn't it?
Yeah.
What a great goal again by Leicester City. And Sheffield United wants to get turned again. I mean, that's 3-0 now. I mean, you don't know how this is going to end up.
No. Well, their heaviest Premier League defeat this season was 4-1 against Chelsea. We've said before that of their previous 22 defeats, 14 of them have been by a single goal margin. Very unusual to see them lose by such a margin, but for Leicester City, if their hunger levels remain as high as they have in this second half, because they have stepped it up in the second half, they're passing the ball far quicker, they could go on to score more. Here is Perez towards Vardy, and who knows, goal difference could be such an important factor as well when it comes to the top four.
You're right, it could be the way it's shaping up, but you look at Sheffield United, I think they've got Chelsea away in the Cup next week, haven't they?
Yes, they have.
I mean, that's not going to be easy, is it? So,
yeah, followed by, after the international break, an away game against Leeds United and Arsenal. So for Sheffield United, I mean, this will be defeat 23. The most they've ever lost in the top flight was actually 26 games when they finished bottom in 75-76 as far as the top flight campaign is concerned. But Leicester City, whose goal difference at the minute is plus 19, you look at the other teams around them, an opportunity to boost it. Tielemans pulls it back, Perez shoots and turned over by Norwood.
Good free kick, a good corner set with training ground routine. I like to see things like that. They are good if you can get them right. You think more teams should do it instead of just putting the ball in the box and having a 50-50 challenge. That was well worked.
It was Norwood who headed it away just in front of Aaron Ramsdale, and Perez was looking to try and get his second goal of the afternoon. So Leicester City are going second, 2 points clear of Manchester United, who play later on tonight against West Ham. We'll have that for you here on 5 Live. In comes the corner on the far side towards the far post, and then the clearance once more from Sheffield United. I think that was Fleck on this occasion, puts the ball out of play, and Sheffield United at the minute are firmly on the back foot as Leicester City are looking for more goals. 2 in the space of 5 minutes in this second period. And it's going to be another corner kick on the right hand side that Tielemans this time is going to take, and every pink shirt is back in and around the penalty area with 17 minutes remaining of normal time. But they're racking up the goals now to match the dominant display, Leicester City. Tielemans again pulls it out, they'll go again, and Perez this time fizzes one wide, goal kick, 3-0.
Why don't you learn from the first one? I mean, they've just done it, 5 minutes ago, and they did the same routine again, look, and it's Perez just hangs himself in the D. They pull the ball back towards the D, and he's just missed the target, but somebody's got to mark him.
You just look at that goal difference with the teams who are pushing for top 4. Manchester United is plus 23, Leicester and Chelsea plus 19, West Ham plus 11, Everton plus 3, Tottenham plus 18. Of course, Tottenham at the North London derby. Next commentary coming up, 4:30 kickoff, of course, on BBC Radio 5 Live at Arsenal. And the team news from our correspondent John Murray.
And the main news is that Kane is fit to play for Tottenham, but Aubameyang is only a substitute for Arsenal. So Arsenal makes 3 changes from Greece. Lacazette is in for Aubameyang, Smith Rowe for Willian, Cedric Suarez for Bellerin. Spurs make 6 changes from midweek, but just 1 from last weekend, and that is Ndombele in for Winks. So as I say, Ian, Harry Kane has been passed fit to play for Spurs in the derby.
Thank you, John. John will be joined by Clinton Morrison for the next commentary, and then we've got Manchester United against West Ham after that. Brian's just been shown a yellow card as Leicester City have got a free kick that Tielemans is going to take. It's just by the byline, right hand side of the penalty area. 16 minutes remaining, Leicester lead 3-0. Tielemans to take it now, chipped towards the far post, claimed out of the air by Ramsdale.
If you're going to take a free kick, it was similar to a corner, wasn't it? In a way, it's 10 yards in probably from the along the byline, but put somebody on the keeper so he can't come and catch it.
You know, this season Sheffield United have not ball up towards Sharp, dealt with by Fofana. All their 4 wins have come in midweek. They actually haven't won a game of football this season on a weekend.
What you got to do is, when you meet in the hotel and that, just pretend it's Monday or Tuesday when you wake up.
Here is Perez. They've lost all 9 on a Saturday, and it's a grim reading. 2 draws and 18 defeats it'll be so far for Sheffield United during this season. 15 minutes remaining. Fofana made sure that ball was his as he went in for a 50-50 with Fleck, clears it long downfield. In case you missed it earlier, Southampton 1, Brighton and Hove Albion 2. In the Championship, Sheffield Wednesday 1, Norwich City 2. Wednesday struggling, still 7 points away from safety as Norwich go 10 points clear. Scotland, Ireland have a slender advantage. That's on Sports Extra and BBC One. And the golf later on as well. The final round of the Players' Championship tonight will start a little bit earlier than scheduled, 7:30 on Sports Extra, as we follow the progress of Lee Westwood.
Yep, come on Lee.
That's the Players' Championship on 5 Live Sports Extra. So again, a lot of live sport to look forward to still. 14 minutes remaining. Leicester City 3, Sheffield United 0.
He used to sponsor Works Uptown.
Yeah, he's the Works Up lad, isn't he?
Yeah, he used to sponsor them. Not when I was there. I think he was just breaking into golf then.
Fofana on the stretch, couldn't control the ball. There's going to be a change down below. We're going to see Iliman Ndiaye coming on for Sheffield United, which is actually going to be his debut for Sheffield United. 21-year-old midfielder. He's a young Frenchman, an attacking midfielder who they signed in July 2019 from Boreham Wood, but he's been an unused substitute for a number of times as Ndayi. Actually only turned 21 last weekend, so you could say it's a belated birthday present to be getting his Premier League debut here at the King Power Stadium with 13 minutes remaining. There's Iheanacho, who's on a hat-trick. He's going to shoot. Oh, what a goal! What a way to bring up your first hat-trick in the Premier League for Leicester City, leading Sheffield United by 3-0. Absolutely lashed it in, left-footed. Iheanacho makes it 4.
Well, it all started with Ampadu coming out on the back, goes past a couple, overruns it, looking for the free kick. He maybe had a claim, he was going mad with the referees, get back in position. Within seconds, indeed he gives it Iheanacho, and there's nobody goes to. Nobody goes, they all back off. 20, 23, 24 yards out, hits it with his left foot, just right to the D, into Ramsdale's bottom left-hand corner, and Ramsdale absolutely no chance. What a great hat-trick he scored today.
If ever there was a goal just to sum up the confidence that must be oozing through Kelechi Iheanacho, that was it, because you can see him thinking, what are my options? Tell you what, I'm going to have a dig.
Listen, he's in great form, and he's just got to put his game together, keep consistency, and there's no reason why he will not be in this football team if he keeps the consistency. That is his big problem.
It was a fine goal. You'll see it to yourself tonight on Match of the Day with Mark Chapman. Match of the Day 2 at 10:30. Let's check in on the rugby. Ndayi, by the way, during that goal celebrations has come on to replace Oliver Norwood, and it's Leicester City 4, Sheffield United 0, and at the minute it's Sheffield United's heaviest Premier League defeat of the season. But Scotland, Ireland and the Six Nations, Sarah Orchard.
Yes, Scotland 10, Ireland 8, 29 minutes now on the clock. A try for Scotland through Finn Russell after total confusion after their captain Stuart Hogg looked like he'd knocked on the ball. TMO decision that it was all okay, came off his body, not his hand, and Scotland in the lead for the first time. Scotland 10, Ireland 8.
Leicester City are looking for more goals. Here is Vardy. Vardy drills it in, and Vardy scores the obligatory goal against Sheffield United. It's turning into a rout. Leicester City 5, Sheffield United 0, and it is Sheffield United's heaviest Premier League defeat of the season, 5-0.
I think it's an own goal by Ampadu. They get a lot of good fortune here, I've got to say. Leicester in the middle of the park, Albrighton picks it up, and it actually hits Tielemans. Then Vardy decides to hit it across the goal, right, and Ampadu slides as you do to try and protect the cross, but he hits it in with his right foot off his toe into the back of the net. Vardy would love to claim it, but unfortunately that is an own goal.
Yeah, because it was actually going, looking at it again, it was actually going off target, so it will be an Ampadu own goal. But it's a sorry afternoon for Sheffield United. 5-0 down.
It was interesting in one when we came here today, with Chris Wilder losing his job, or however he has lost it, and it was interesting to see how Sheffield United would perform with the manager gone.
Yeah,
and you've got to say they've been very disappointing. Even though Leicester have been good, you've got to say Sheffield United really, let's be honest, haven't turned up today.
Well, Perez is coming off the field now, and we're going to have a debut for Kanya Leshabela, who's a South African midfielder. He's had to bide his time. Even I noticed James Maddison in the director's box with a pink hat on, a pink beanie hat, standing and applauding Jose Perez for his contribution in this convincing Leicester City victory. But Leshabela coming on. He's been an unused substitute on 7 occasions. He joined the academy in 2019, but he's coming on for Jose Perez. And credit Leicester City, because we said it's a question of how many goals they wanted to score, and that their hunger levels have never dropped in that respect, Chris.
No, they've been excellent second half, Leicester. They've really used the ball well. They've been very clinical. The finishings have been excellent. It's just been a one-sided second half, let's be honest. Leicester had 3 good chances first half. It could have been 7 or 8 this, and easy could have been 7 or 8.
Yeah. That was just pulled back Vardy to Ian Atcher, who spooned over an opportunity, took a deflection on its way through. It's one of those days now. If you Paul Heckingbottom and Sheffield United, you're wanting the final whistle to be blown now.
Yeah, it's always a difficult job, isn't it? Listen, you're bottom of the league. You're looking for points. You're going to Leicester, who are in good form.
Another chance just goes wide as well, and that was sliding. And I think Johnny Evans at the far post. I mean,
you're looking at players now, though, to start having a go, to be saying to each other, come on, boys, because let's be honest, as just said, this could have been 7 or 8, and you don't want that. Listen, you've lost your manager. You need to show a bit pride, and you've got to stick together.
Yeah, it's been a difficult afternoon for all concerned to follow on from a difficult few days for everybody concerned with Sheffield United. 5-0 though for Leicester City. 7 minutes remaining of normal time for what has been a sorry campaign. But even though that they've struggled this season, I think the Sheffield United supporters still felt that there was an opportunity to regroup, rebuild, and try and come back that little bit stronger. But that confidence has certainly been eroded with the departure of Chris Wilder.
Definitely, you've seen the reaction. It's I definitely think that losing Chris Wilder, a lot of the players have been affected.
We've got some breaking news now at Arsenal. John Murray.
Well, just a little more information, Ian, on the team news from Arsenal. I mentioned the fact that Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is named only as a substitute today. Well, Mikel Arteta's just been doing his pre-match interviews and says that the Arsenal captain is on the bench today for disciplinary reasons. He says it's a disciplinary issue. He wouldn't elaborate on that, but he said that he's on the bench today, and after that, it's done. We've drawn a line under it. But if you remember, last month, Aubameyang put out a social media post of him having a tattoo put on his hand, and Arsenal said they were going to investigate that as to whether it was a breach of the COVID guidelines. So today he's on the bench.
Thank you, John. And remember as well, if in case you missed it from John's team news report update earlier, Harry Kane is fit to start for Spurs. Arsenal, Tottenham Hotspur at 4:30. Whilst we're away, another chance for Ian Archer. Well, he could have scored 5 alone.
Yeah, well, we're losing count here, and when people say some games it could have been double figures, it could.
Yeah. Cleared downfield by Ramsdale. 5 minutes of normal time remaining. The rain teeming down now here at the King Power. Lundstrom, hardly mentioned Lundstrom in the commentary at all for Sheffield United. Here's Leicester showing a few skills on this right hand side, coming forward and winning a corner. That just goes to show the levels of self-belief for these Leicester players.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good time to put him on, isn't it? It's but you look at the circumstances, but you would expect a lot more from this group. They've always been known, Sheffield United, under Chris Wilder, hard-working, honest group. Give everything they've got, and you've got to say today, it's the first time I've seen you've got to question that today.
So it's going to be a corner kick for Leicester City, 5-0, and it comes from Albrighton, aimed towards Fofana, goes behind for another corner kick for Leicester City that Albrighton is going to take. I talked before, they really have boosted that goal difference as they go second in the table. Leicester looking to try and ram home the advantage here. Albrighton once more with a corner kick, and out it goes towards that far side. It'll be Tielemans who'll get there first. Tielemans' ball though is going to go all the way back. Castagnier, referee, has blown his whistle because there's a player down. It's I think it's Ampadu who's stayed down in the penalty area because it's a head injury. That's the reason why Peter Banks, the referee, has stopped play.
Yeah, and then a breakaway there. Moussa really shown a lot of pace there. Castagnier just gets there before him, but then the referee stops the game.
There's a penalty in the Six Nations. Sarah Orchard.
Yeah, Ireland back in front. It's Scotland 10, Ireland 11. The second one slotted by Sexton. It's a pretty scrappy game, we have to say, and Scotland have just been awarded a penalty for themselves. Finn Russell just lining this one up. So Scotland 10, Ireland 11, but a Scottish penalty to come.
That's on Sports Extra as well as BBC One, and yet another goal in the Women's League Cup final. Jackie Oatley.
Another two. Such is the nature of this extremely one-sided game. Now Bristol City 0, Chelsea 6. Is it 7 as Sam Kerr goes for a fourth? It's not. The goalkeeper Bagley does well, but it was Kerr completing a hat-trick after a well-worked move all the way back from the goalkeeper, involving Kirby, Wrighton and Kirby again, and this time Fleming, Kerr, Kirby laid it off for Wrighton. For number 6, Bristol City 0, Chelsea 6 with 56 minutes played.
Thank you, Jackie. Leicester City 5, Sheffield United 0. Still no let-up as far as the blue shirts of Leicester City are concerned. Inside, that's Ian Acho midway through his own half, doing a little bit of work as they tidy up, and then Evans to Soyuncu. Castagne's going forward on that left-hand side. Soyuncu will actually run with the ball midway through the Sheffield United half. Now inside, Leschabella to Vardy. That was a poor challenge by Lundstrom, and might well receive a yellow card for catching Tielemans. And indeed he is booked.
Well, they might review that, but I mean, from where we are, which is a long way, I thought it was a fair tackle. Yeah, and I've got to say, I think he's played the ball. Yeah, he's slid. Is it high? No, he's played the ball. And maybe the follow through is what they'll be questioning, but he actually played the ball.
Just the yellow card it is. Not even checking that with VAR for Lundstrom, who of course was sent off against Brighton in December. So they will remain marooned at the bottom of the Premier League. West Bromwich Albion, I think yesterday they needed to get something out of that game at Selhurst Park, so 2 of those relegation berths filled at the bottom. And then with Brighton getting that big win at Southampton, a significant success, taking them above Newcastle. Still very, very tight down at the bottom. Southampton themselves maybe still have a little bit more work to do as the free kick for Leicester City comes in, headed out by Basham and hooked clear by Mousset. But with 60 seconds remaining of normal time, what has been an extremely one-sided affair. Yeah,
I mean, you can question Sheffield United at a certain part. I'm not saying you can't. Nobody wants to get beat 5-0, and there's still time to get more, but not a lot of time. But Leicester have been very good, let's be honest, second half especially. First half I thought they were a bit slow in their build-up, but they did create 3 chances and scored 1. Second half they could have had at least 6-7 goals.
Well, you look at Leicester City, they're 10 away wins. No team has won more away from home. It's the same as Manchester City. But at home before today, only 19 points of their 53 have come here at the King Power. It's a return of 36%, which is actually a league low. If they were able to add to that and find a little bit more consistency, then Leicester City should have no qualms about going on to secure a top 4 finish, which would be a terrific achievement. Here is Sharp looking for a consolation on the edge of the area. We're about to find out how much more added on time will be played by the officials. Paul Heckingbottom and Sheffield United will hope it's not many. Fofana, but some of the goals have been emphatic, and certainly the manner of victory has been emphatic. And it's just the 2 minutes that are being added on, which, given that there's been a number of substitutions, I think that's a little bit lenient. Going to give, I think, 30 seconds for each one, aren't you?
Yeah, but you're talking about Leicester scoring 5 goals, and could have scored a lot more, don't get me wrong. But normally they find it harder at home, because teams come and they look to catch them on the break, and they do it well. You can't really say that about Sheffield United. They haven't looked as if you think, yeah, we see the game plan, intercept, break quickly with pace or whatever, get bodies forward. They haven't done either. So you can see why, Leicester at home sometimes find it difficult, because teams are dangerous on the break. But Sheffield United haven't played that game today. They've just basically came here, sat behind the ball, and offered very little going forward.
And as it is, trailing by 5-0 in 2 minutes of added on time. Is there time for one last goal? No, Brian will get there before Vardy, but it's going to be a 4th successive away defeat for Sheffield United, and still without scoring in those 4 games since that surprise victory at Old Trafford. 1-0 at Manchester City, 3-0 at West Ham, and 1-0 at Fulham. And now this 5-0 hammering here at the King Power as Leicester City look to try and cement a place in the top 4 in some style. Brian forward for Sheffield United. By my watch, the time is almost up. What has been a miserable afternoon to round off a more than miserable last few days for everybody concerned with Sheffield United. Vardy to Iheanacho, chance to maybe rub salt into the wounds, intercepted from Ampadu, prevent it from reaching Jamie Vardy. And now it's with Ndiaye, the debutant. But there is the final whistle, and it's been a difficult afternoon for the interim manager Paul Heckingbottom, as Sheffield United's problems continue for a turbulent last few days. But for Leicester City, they have enjoyed a fine afternoon, an emphatic scoreline and fully deserved, and the margin of victory could have been far greater. At Leicester City 5, Sheffield United 0, a hat-trick for Iheanacho, an own goal from Ampadu, and also Perez on the score sheet too. Steve.
Remarkable performance from Leicester City. More from Ian and Chris Waddle to come in a moment. First of all, let's check back in at the Six Nations. Great game going on between Scotland and Ireland. Sarah Orchard.
Yeah, half-time, Scotland 10, Ireland 14. A try for both sides. Robbie Henshaw going over for the men in green. And then later, Finn Russell, a lot of confusion over him going over to score for a try, because it looked like the Scotland captain, Stuart Hogg, had knocked on the ball. But after a television match official review, it was deemed he hadn't touched his hand. It had come off his body, so that one was okay. We have to be very careful around that after everything that happened, of course, with Wales and the Louis Rees-Zammit situation we had a few weeks ago against England. But yeah, you have to say it's been quite a scrappy game, a lot of mistakes from both sides, and in particular Scotland, they will be worried that their set piece really isn't functioning at the moment. Probably Ireland the happier. Half time, it is Scotland 10, Ireland 14.
Thank you very much, Sarah. In the EFL Trophy final, Sunderland Tranmere at Wembley. Half time there, Gary Flintoff.
Yes, and Sunderland of League 1 0, Tranmere of League 2 0. Doesn't quite tell the full story, I have to say. The League 2 side have looked more likely to score. Danny Lloyd, Kane Woolery and Liam Feeney have all looked really bright for Tranmere, and Danny Lloyd should have done better with a header just 10 yards out. Sunderland's 26-goal striker Charlie Wyke has been completely starved of service, and to add to Sunderland's woes, they lost centre-half Tom Flanagan through injury just before the half-time whistle. Very much in the balance. Sunderland 0, Tranmere Rovers 0.
Thanks, Gary. Yeah, those might sound like woes, but in the Women's League Cup final, Bristol City have been behind the 8 ball since the first minute. Jackie Oatley?
Oh dear, it's a little bit painful for them, I'm afraid. I mean, their priority is staying in the WSL. They're a point off the bottom of the table, whereas Chelsea are 2 points clear at the very top, and that is clear because it's Bristol City 0, Chelsea 6 with 63 minutes played. Kerr hat-trick, Kirby with 2 goals. They've both just been substituted. Wrighton with 1 of them. They've made several subs, Chelsea, and they've still left star players, Pernilla Harder, the world record signing, on the bench, and they haven't needed to use G either, who's also a top international. And they've got England striker Beth England injured, so such is the disparity between these two sides. Bristol City 0, Chelsea 6.
Thank you very much, Jackie. Yeah, that Chelsea team is just absolutely phenomenal. Phenomenal performance from Leicester City in the first of our 3 commentaries on this Premier League Sunday. Leicester City 5, Sheffield United 0. A result that puts Leicester back second in the Premier League table, albeit having played a game more than Manchester United, and United's game in hand is later on Premier League Sunday at home to West Ham, who are 5th on 48 points. Leicester second on 56, albeit having played 2 games more. Ian Dennis and Chris Waddle, your commentary team at the King Power Stadium. Chris, I'm just looking at some of the messages we're getting in. They're all about Kelechi Iheanacho. David, Iheanacho in the form of his life. He seems to be working harder. His movement off the ball is great. He always wants to get involved now. Tunde, I love the build-up to that 4th goal. And DDT Iheanacho, and boom, it's a hat-trick. Good news from Nigeria. We heard before the game from Kelechi, and he was saying to us that he was honoured that Brendan Rodgers had this faith in him. We saw so much confidence from him this afternoon.
Well, he is. He's been scoring goals, and that's what strikers thrive on, putting the ball in the net, and the confidence grows. And his movement's good. He's enjoying playing up with Jamie Vardy, normally the way they set up. And because of the injuries to Barnes and people like Maddison, he's got his chance and he's taking it. He's doing nothing wrong. As I said earlier in the programme, for me, the one thing he's got to be is consistent in his play, not just his goal scoring, which was great today, and his general play. Don't give the ball away sloppy. His work rate's decent. You kind of fault that. And that's what lets him down at times, bad decision making. But today he put it together. He's got a hat-trick, and he's, as you said, he's in the form of his life, and he's full of confidence.
The question was asked, Ian, after Leicester went out of Europe and then they lost to Arsenal, whether or not there was a possibility they could have a collapse in the way they did last season. And then they get Maddison injured, and then they get Barnes injured. But the depth there now is really riding them through.
And players now coming back from injury with Evans, Perez, and Fofana, and Iheanacho, I think, has been terrific. Whilst they've been through that period, he's just stepped up. It's his first hat-trick in the Premier League for Leicester City. In fact, his only a senior hat-trick was for Manchester City, probably about 5 years ago against Aston Villa. And I can see him down below. He's cradling that match ball. He's going to cherish that. And I just thought he was terrific today. And I just think that there's been a real transformation in him. When he was at Manchester City, if you look at his record, 21 goals in 64 games, there was only 12 starts during that time. And if he does start, getting that regular run in the side, and also I think you've got to give a lot of credit today to Jamie Vardy, because Vardy was terrific with the amount of assists that he gave. He was brilliant for Iheanacho. He was brilliant, Vardy. His movement, Jamie's getting better with age, and they say you understand the game better as the older you get. It's probably right. And if you look at Vardy now, he was renowned for, up and off play was a bit loose, a bit sloppy. He always played on his shoulder. He got his goals. But they thought, well, if he doesn't score, what's he contributed as such? But now his movement's better. He's coming to the left, right, coming into number 10 role at times, linking the play. Where areas maybe a couple of years ago he would have shot, he's passing it now, squaring it as he saw today. His all-round game's getting better.
There was also, Chris, a discussion recently about, Jamie Vardy had said that to get more longevity, he was looking at staying more between the width of the posts as a striker. That's not what we saw today. This was that kind of old school Jamie Vardy charging all around the forward line.
Exactly. I don't think that's it's a nice thing to say, isn't it? But he's obviously not followed that up. He's been everywhere today. He's been on the wings. He's dropping in, as I say, dropping into the number 10 spot at times. His all-round game's so much improving. As I said earlier, everybody thought quick, on the shoulder, goal scorer, but now he's actually added a lot to his game. He's used to the balls far better, getting his head up a lot more. But you saw a team here today, two sides, one full of confidence and the other side lost no confidence at all, and obviously feeling sorry for themselves a bit after losing their leader.